Welcome to the podcast of disaster. I'm your host, JCR1216, and joining me are my co-hosts.
Yes, arts, and I draw often, and I actually became a fan because of the first movie, and I'm happy to be here.
I am LordM. You fellas already know me. I always here.
Yeah. Well, thank you again for joining us, Arts, and today we do have a very special episode, not only because you're here, because whenever you're here, it's special. This is the Sonic Movie 1 5 years later episode. And to go over the movie, obviously we can't talk about the movie without talking about the speculation. You said this was the movie that made you a fan. This was the one that kind of reintroduced me into the franchise. I followed around for Boom for a little bit. The Sonic Boom TV show was the thing that kind of got me into Sonic. I kind of was on a break with it, but when the movie popped up, it was kind of like, oh yay.
Well, I'm glad it got you back into the franchise.
Welcome back.
What about you, LordM? What was your speculation on the movie back then?
Oh boy. For starters, the ugly Sonic design. When the first was announced, I was like, oh, a Sonic movie, and I was happy. And then I remember, wait, video games movie tends to play out all the time. Like Resident Evil, both Doom's movies, Mortal Kombat, the animation. And then we got the first trailer, and I was like, okay, so far looking good. And then boom, ugly Sonic jumps.
Yeah. I think the first time I remembered about Ugly Sonic was that poster with him over San Francisco where we got to see his legs. I don't know if you guys remember that poster.
Oh, yeah, I know that one. Disgusting.
Why that shot?
Like, I don't know. I remember seeing that in my local mall for the first time, and I literally saw a kid cry.
Oh no.
And I just remember.
I just want to know. Oh, sorry.
It's fine. You can go.
I just want to know why this design was even approved in the first place.
Yeah, that drives me insane. I think Fowler's mentioned it a couple of times, but I'm like, dude, you animated Shadow 05. You know this franchise. It's like maybe it was like a Sega.
He knows its fans.
Yeah, and it's like maybe it was like a thing from Paramount because it was like, live action buddy road trip movies like Yogi Bear and like Hop, which was made by Illumination, which James Marsden was also in. It just felt like an overall weird design choice. It was a weird way to go about the first movie, especially people already had concerns about it being live action. And then you just drop what I see in my nightmares at 2 a.m.
I'm just like, why did no one speak up about it? Like, I mean, in the production, did no one think maybe that was probably the dumbest idea ever?
Yeah, like
probably they did speak about it, but Paramount say, nah, it's fine till they receive the uproar of the fans.
Yeah, like it gave the '93 Mario movie Bowser design a run for its money, for like just weird video game designs. Like I remember my friend who was like a massive Mario fan. He said like, looks like Mario '93 no longer has the worst designed characters. But I am glad. Yeah, Mario '93. That's an entirely wormhole of a movie. Good God.
We could easily speak about that someday.
Yeah, but when we do talk about it, the redesign was fantastic. Shout out to all the VFX artists. That is not an easy job, especially flipping it around in like 4 months at most.
Yeah, especially when they have it the whole movie complete with the whole design.
Plus the costs for all of that.
Yeah, like you have to imagine, like it wasn't even that kind of debunks this was a marketing ploy or stunt. They had toys ready to go. They had stuff ready to go. They thought we were gonna eat this up, or at least for Paramount just to make like a quick buck off of the Sonic IP. But it's like, oh my god. Like looking back, it's like
the unfinished leaked animations.
Yeah, no wonder why Chris Evans and Chris Pratt turned it down. Jesus. So it just kept going, and then we got the new trailer, which I think dropped on the correct me if I'm wrong, but or in the comments, but I think that the first trailer actually dropped with the new Sonic design on the day that the movie was originally going to come out. I believe it was supposed to come out November 19th, 2019. Now,
something
like February. So
they dropped
crazy.
Yeah.
They dropped the old design with the Gangster Paradise in the trailer, just so people get angry, and every time they listen to the song, they remember the old Sonic design.
Yeah, that actually happened to me with Gangster's Paradise. I remember my mom was playing it in the car while we were driving, and I just for some reason like the Winter Soldier meme where it was like rocking around in a chair. I just remember my mind going back to the ugly Sonic trailer, and I'm like, oh my god.
Gotta go fast, yeah.
No.
It kind of made history.
Yeah, it was one of the very first times ever where a studio actually listened to the fan base about the design of something, which was not only I have to give my hats off the entire staff and the people who are making the movie, like the VFX artists, like everybody involved with that movie, like just the redesign. It takes a lot of guts to admit that you're wrong on a big production.
Especially with the amount of like money that went into it, the amount of work, time. Just want to get it over and done with.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure some people, they stay late night or don't even sleep at all trying to fix everything.
Yeah, so it is fantastic to see that.
I am very glad. I feel like if he looked the way he did, I wouldn't have watched the movie, honestly.
I think that's a sentiment for most of us.
How so?
Just like in
I'm pretty
general.
sure a lot of people would have watched it, but
Yeah, I think it would have definitely broke even, but it's like, there's no way this movie would get a sequel.
no way at all.
Like, that's the thing about the first movie. Like, it did solid, but I feel like a lot of people, I know a lot of people that were just not going to watch the movie, I think my family included, just because of the design, because just how bad it looked. It didn't look like they cared, but with the redesign, they did prove that they did care. So, like, how did the original design get past production in the first place?
It must be hard stuff.
But yeah, yep. But yeah, speaking about the overall appearance of Sonic Movie 1, let's talk about the plot of Sonic Movie 1.
The road trip movie?
Yeah, the road trip video game movie. But it does open up with Sonic getting shot at by Eggman, which I feel like, even though we all hate the, I guess you're wondering how we got here type of thing, it was nice at the time to like see that done in in at least a decent way. It made sense. Sonic is fast. He would have to like slow down for other people. So I feel like that was a really creative use of the entire thing.
It was, yeah, I'd say so.
Kind of showing how fast it can be, but especially
Definitely.
we have to talk about the person that got Sonic in Green Gears with the cop and everything.
Yeah. When we talk about like the overall opening with Longclaw, I remember watching it for the first time. Like, who is this? I'm like, oh yeah, this is a movie. They're gonna do their own thing, and I'm glad that this movie does do its own thing, 90% of the time.
Me too. I wasn't even a Sonic fan by that point, and it drew me in. So it was definitely a pretty cool approach, in my opinion.
Yeah, the opening with Yonko was a little sad. The Echidna chasing both of them. Yonko sending Sonic to a different world, while he watches how Yonko is going to get attacked by the Echidnas and the portal close. It was kind of sad. Plus the music there.
Yeah. When we talk about just like that scene, I do think it's kind of interesting that we get to see the rings used as like teleportation devices.
That one kind of always confused me because I have played like the Olympic Games and stuff. I've played Sonic Dash, before that, so I was confused as to why they were used for teleporting. But I guess it's like how you could teleport to special stages. I guess it's like a reference to that, maybe.
Oh, I never thought about it like that before. That's actually really good. That makes a lot of sense. Honestly.
Yeah.
That's definitely a game theory.
I remember they were also showing a trailer for either Sonic Generations or the game that was before Generation. They showed a trailer of Sonic throwing a ring and going to a different world.
Yeah, so maybe there was more merit to it than I remember, but it was just like still weird to see it used as a teleportation.
Yeah, it was always sort of like something strange to me. Again, as a non-Sonic fan, even as a Sonic fan, it's pretty new, but I like it.
Yeah, I think it does do a lot of cool things with it. Yeah, and then obviously we get the flash forward scene. We get to see Tom with the thing, with the speedometer.
Yeah, with the speed.
So like, yep. So with that scene, I do think it does show off a really cool part of Sonic that we really don't get to see, like the competitive side of Sonic. We get to see him like zoom around, and, like mess with Tom. In a way,
that kind of told me a bit about his character already right then and there. Even though he wasn't really speaking, I could tell he was like very cheeky, very happy, very excited, very hyper, and I liked that.
I think that really did set the tone with it, and then obviously we get to see Tom get shocked by it. Then he gets a phone call from the best character in the franchise, Wade. I do like little banter that they do have. It's one of the only times Tom and Wade actually interact, even though they're called best friends. It's one of the only times we really get to see Tom and like Wade interact and like talk with each other. So it is really cool. We get the sense that Wade is a goober, Tom is the straight man, the smart one.
the straight man.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, he does get a little bent out of shape as the movie goes on. But it was awesome to see Tom do things. Like, we get to see Tom shine by himself for a little bit, even though it is a Sonic movie. We get to see him talk. We get a bit of an introduction to him. And we get to see him, like, he does take his job seriously, as we get to see with the jokes and the banter at the beginning of the movie. He does care about
And the
Green
fact that
Hills.
he wants that promotion so bad.
Yeah. We get to see Green Hills is in Montana for some reason. I don't know why they chose Montana of all places. Like, I feel like that's such an
Why?
understated fact about all of this. Is that, oh yeah, Green Hills is in Montana. And they don't even film in Montana, so it's like, why like, that is such a specific state to choose to...
Oh, wait, it wasn't recording Montana.
No, like, Montana, I know you guys don't live in the States, but Montana is like the, it's like the wheat bread of the of bread. It's like, you'll see it, but it's like, you'll take your white bread, you'll take your whole grain bread over the rye bread.
Actually, I'm a person who likes that kind of bread, so.
Whoops. But yeah, that's something that I do like though. Like, it's niche, it's nice. It's a nice trivia question at a video game movie trivia night if you do those. But yeah, we do get to see Sonic mess around with his speed after Tom leaves, with him saving that turtle, which does call back to Sonic does save animals.
The turtle was a really cool thing because you could see the contrast between each species, I guess, the speed. I personally found that bit super funny and cute.
Yeah, I loved it. It was cute. It was fun. It was nice to just see Sonic be fast.
Gotta go fast.
We do get to the Sonic's cave was really cool to see. It was nice,
Oh,
even
the
though it was
Sonic
kind of
video
weird
game.
that Sonic would
Oh,
spend.
I wanted to live there.
Yeah, that cave was fun. Like, it is, and I do like the fact that they do kind of keep. I do like the fact that movie 3 they do revisit it, but we've already talked about movie 3 in the former review. But yeah, the cave is cool. It does show off Sonic being put in his own spot, and we get to see him do stuff. I don't know how I feel about him stalking Thomas, and Maddie, and their dog while they're watching movies. I wonder how long Sonic honestly did that for.
I think just out of boredom, I would have watched movies through people's windows if I was like stuck in a hole my whole life.
Yeah, like I am kind of guilty. Like, I'll be taking a walk in my neighborhood and I'll just see someone's TV playing like Despicable Me or like something like that, and I'll go like, oh, cool. I won't
You
sit
sound
down like
lucky.
Sonic. I won't sit down like Sonic does and like watch the full movie. But he knows who Keanu Reeves is and he can quote movies, so it just makes me think, how long has he been like doing this for?
Maybe years. Maybe years at least.
Yeah, and I feel like
Like,
people did. Oh,
he didn't have a phone or anything. He just has like comics for entertainment, so I completely understand where he's coming from.
so yeah, movie Sonic is a nerd confirm. Yeah, I love that so much though that we get to see Sonic is alone. We get to see him talk to himself a lot. The nicknames, Donut Lord we said earlier. I feel like a lot of people forget that Maddie's nickname is Pretzel Lady.
Oh, actually, I often like only up until recently I keep forgetting her name, so I'd always call her that. But now I know for sure her name is Maddie.
Yeah,
Pretzel Lady and Donut Lord.
yeah. So it's fun to see that. I love Tom and Maddie's chemistry throughout the entire film. Like, they
They're
love
very
each other.
cute.
Yeah, they're cute. I love everything that they do. I'm a big fan
Their
of.
dynamic is perfect.
Yeah, they're fun. It is great to honestly see, because they do give that couple vibe of just like people that are living their own lives being supportive. We get to learn that Tom did take a second job to help Maddie through vet school. I also people forget that Maddie's a vet too. I feel like people forget that Tom is a cop. People forget that Maddie was a veterinarian.
Honestly, I did forget.
Yeah, it's like when I rewatched the first movie with my friend a couple nights ago, I was like, oh shoot, right, Maddie was a vet.
I remember that one line where Tom asked her for like cat smelling salts, and then she was like, "They don't make those. We have normal smelling salts." That was a cute scene. I liked how she was like a vet for Sonic.
Yeah, that was fun, and we can't speak about the fun stuff as we get to the baseball scene. The baseball scene was fun to see. We get to see Sonic as a baseball guy, which is cool. I've gotten into baseball recently, but Sonic was like, you watch the playoffs thing. We get to see a kid get raised up to the air and being supportive and stuff. And then when he comes to the thing later that night, I do like that scene. That baseball scene is hilarious. I like the fact that we get to see Sonic, be himself. He is quirky. He is funny, and we get to
And he
enjoy
talks
that.
to like several different versions of himself at the same time.
Just like me for real.
Because of schizophrenia, I go.
Yeah, because of the speed. That's another really good thing that these movies do. 2 and 3 show him being fast, but movie 1 really capitalizes. Oh yeah, Sonic is fast.
Yeah, like the therapy sessions too.
Yeah. And the baseball scene is a really good thing about that. Then we get to see Sonic imitate Barry Bonds for a second without the steroids, with him running around all the bases.
Yeah, and causing all these sauce.
Yeah, and then the power outage, which was a very unique scene because that did lead into Tails finding out who he is, but we'll talk about Tails later. But yeah, that power outage scene was hilarious to see, and we got to see Commander Walters, who's to me the most underrated human character in these films.
Oh yeah, he's cool. Him and his obsession with Olive Garden.
Yes. I originally, when watching movie 3, I thought he was going to pull out an Olive Garden gift card when he was on the floor. Olive Garden. Here's Sonic. Here's my golden pass to Olive Garden. Go grab some pretzels. Some breadsticks. They're unlimited.
If
That
you come
would've
with
been
me,
so
you
funny.
can get all the Olive Garden.
Yeah.
That's his last dying words. He gives him
Olive Garden.
a freaking card.
Never-ending pasta bowl. I wonder if
He dreams with going on Olive Garden.
yeah, which I think is funny. I do think after like the second movie, like since they are kind of more in cahoots, I just like to think that one of the emergency missions was just him with Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles as they just eat Olive Garden together. Like he just wanted someone to come eat Olive Garden with him. Like
I guess he bored everyone.
yeah, just not like no Tom and Maddie's just him hanging out with Sonic, and Tails and Knuckles just like eating Olive
With the
Garden.
boy.
That would be.
I mean,
good.
it's free food.
Yeah. But yeah, the baseball scene does lead to the greatest video game casting choice: sit down Jack Black as Bowser and Chris Pratt as future Silver the Hedgehog. Yeah, Jim Carrey as Eggman was peak fiction.
Jim Carrey was a wonderful choice. It's so obvious he enjoyed his role. He seemed to go all out. I loved it.
Yeah.
The dance, the mannerism he has as Eggman.
Yeah.
He constantly cutting off the commander, constantly cutting off. That he was beautiful.
Yeah, we get to see Jim just be Jim. We get to see a new generation grow up with Jim Carrey, because a lot of people are just going to remember him for the Sonic movies, because this is like the only movies he's done in the 2020s. Also, we get introduced to Stone, which was awesome to see.
I love
Best
Stone.
Yeah, Stone is to me a fun character. He's great in all of the movies. Lee Majidov does a fantastic job. Stone is honestly it reminds me a bit of Starline if he was normal.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean, Norm?
Like the obsession and love for Eggman is there, but it's not like he
That's
wants
fair.
to he doesn't like he's a toned down Starline in a way, not just what I mean.
Yeah, he seems
Mhm.
like more in love though with Eggman.
Then more of
in
like a
the
psychotic
movies.
thing, which is nice to see. So we get to
We
see
need,
throughout
we need a kiss scene between Stone and Eggman.
maybe in movie 4. Maybe in movie 4. But yeah, I loved everything that this movie did with Stone and Eggman. Like there aren't really any scenes that drag to me besides the fart jokes. But like the scenes with Stone and Eggman are just so good that I kind of wish that there was more of them, honestly. I understand they're trying to play it safe with this first movie. Stone was, I think, original. In the second movie, they do ramp up Stone and Eggman. But I feel like Stone was just originally supposed to be a secretary that was just there and normal. Like,
apparently Stone was meant to be a side character, but Lee had such good chemistry with Jim that he demanded him to be in more scenes with him.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Also, don't forget the dance scene where Eggman finished dancing, turns around, and Stone scares him with the coffee.
Yeah, I love the steam Austrian goat milk joke. I love the fact that they make a reference to it in all 3 of the movies. Like, not that much is referenced in movie 1, besides the goat milk gag, and we got to see the cave in movie 3, but we really don't get to see running gags throughout these movies. So it's nice to see that came up more and more, and I loved that. I loved all the scenes. I loved the dance scene, as you said.
Yeah, the dance scene, that's something that's recurring in all the movies too. I love dance scenes.
Yeah.
Sadly, in the Sonic 2, there is no dance movie.
Yeah, there is with Sonic and Tails. No, there's no Eggman dancing.
Yeah, there's Sonic Tails, but not Egg.
Yeah. So obviously we get to see Tom prank Sonic. Then we get to see the stereotypical road trip stuff. The bar scene. We get to see Tom and Sonic team up. James Marsden assaults Jim Carrey, and then we get to see the casual stuff. Tom and Sonic agree to be with each other to go team up to go to San Francisco, and then we get the bar
and don't
scene.
forget the slow-mo in the bar.
Yeah,
the slow-mo was awesome.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to. The bar scene was hilarious because it does reinfact that Tom is taking care of a teenager or like a young kid at this point. And, he's leaving Earth tomorrow. Like, if you told me at 10 years old I only had 1 day left on Earth, of course I would want to go to a bar. I'm joking. But just like the overall bar scene, I feel like is the best scene portraying Tom and Sonic. We get to see Tom slowly warm up to Sonic. We get to see Sonic enjoy himself. We get all the gags. And also, did you know this?
And the hotel.
Yeah. And the hotel as well. But did you know that scene with like the sodas popping everywhere when Sonic throws his darts? The person that it sprays on is actually the person that ended up voicing Amy in Sonic Prime.
Yeah, I knew
really?
that. She was a really good choice, honestly.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, But yeah, that entire bar scene was just fun. It was all over the place, like this review. But it's like it was so nice just to see the slow mo scene. That's something that these movies do. Two did it with the missiles. One did obviously with missiles again. Three did it with like Sonic breaking into gun. But it was just so nice just to see people like the stop scenes, like everything. It was the best physical comedy. I think something that movie one still does better than the last two movies in Knuckles was the physical comedy.
It's
Like
like
slapstick.
oh yeah.
You know what I love of this movie is that they never go to kind of like typical
breakup.
children humor huh?
Yeah, like there's no third act breakup, which is so nice to see, especially in these movies. I mean, Tom
Yeah.
and Sonic did have a fight, which led to Sonic getting blown up.
And to like the fish on his head as well.
Yeah, Tom and Sonic do fight, but it's not like they have like a full on third act breakup, which is just so refreshing to see in movies, especially in kids movies nowadays. It's not like
in kids movies.
Yeah, there's
in kids
like
movies often they do. Oh, I hate you. I don't want to see you. Then I'm sorry. I want to come back and stuff like that. It's very good.
Yeah, so it was nice to see that get avoided in this movie. And by the way, if you want to know why Sonic didn't just take off his glove, that was one of the things with the redesign. They just didn't reshoot that scene or cut it. They just had the thing just blow up Sonic still. Basically, it was still thought about as his hand as the glove. That's the reason why like he didn't just take off his glove.
Oh.
That was an interesting piece of movie trivia that I picked up, if it's right, hopefully. But yeah, that's something that I do like to see because that does show Tom could have just left Sonic right there. Like Tom could have left like right there and then like turn in Sonic, go back to living a normal life. But that does show Tom's development throughout the movie is that he's becoming more accepting, he's enjoying himself, he's realizing that family and friends do matter more than a big thing where he's probably going to be more unhappy. He lives in a fantastic house for a rural cop salary, so why would you move to San Francisco in like a one-person apartment?
To be fair, Maddie does work as a vet, and that does get studying, right?
Yeah, no, she's a full-on vet now. She was but yeah, that's something that I like.
Gets money.
Like Tom being okay, and just like it seeing like, oh yeah, being here is just better. Like good house, and like that's something I do like this movie does say. Like I hate being displaced in a spot where I thought everything was fine. So I understand Sonic's anger towards Tom, like taking like a greedy step forward, but I understand why Tom wanted to do it because being more proven. But sometimes you just have to prove yourself to the right people.
That's true.
Yeah, and we do get to see Sonic get his iconic shoes and not those rundown shoes. Obviously, that scene did relate to me a lot with like rundown shoes. Is like, even though I'm a bit of a big boy, like my shoes get run down so quick. Like me and my parents go to the shoe shop every like 4 months because how much to just like walk around.
Especially someone who runs so much. I'm surprised they weren't worn down even more.
Yeah, I mean you could see his feet poking out. Do not search up Sonic feet on the internet, by the way.
Give me a second. I'm gonna search.
No. You're gonna see things that I am gonna be financially liable for. No.
It's a horror.
But yeah, that's something that I
do. Well, we lost one.
Yeah, like yeah, rest in pepperonis. I think Rachel is a fun character. I think she's way better in movie 2 because she's technically, even though her actor's technically in movie 3, that's Maddie pretending to be Rachel. But it was nice. It was nice to see a comedic playoff, especially how much she hates Tom. I think that was played off honestly pretty well for what it was.
Yeah, I'd say so. I love the part where they like tied her up and then she talked about the Fitbit. That was one of my favorite jokes.
That was a fun joke. JoJo was sweet. I wish even though I did like the more focus on the Sonic elements, I did miss seeing JoJo in the third movie because it was like she was very wholesome. She was nice. So it was sad seeing. Hopefully she'll return in movie 4. But she was the one that gave Sonic his shoes, which is a really cool detail.
Yeah, I heard there was like headcanons or something, or speculations that she would probably be like Shadow's Maria.
Yeah.
Thankfully, she wasn't.
Yeah, or I think that theory was more of like she would be what Amy was in that movie. Amy would be.
That.
Yeah. Because if she was Shadow's Maria, rest in pepperonis.
Shoot the.
Don't shoot the child. Do not delete the post-born fetus. But yeah, Sonic getting his new shoes, and then that leads to them getting to the building. I did groan a little bit at the fake out with Eggman showing up. I almost called him Jim. With Eggman showing up at the end of the thing to block off the ring. But it was nice to see Eggman play off of Marsden again. I feel like the most underrated chemistry is Tom and Eggman in these movies. Like they always have something.
Yeah,
despite
it being like, yeah, it's very funny as well. It's I feel like they had a lot of good lines between each other. Like very sassy kind of, and the way Eggman would react to Tom's like responses to his own sentences, he would go kind of nuts, and I found that pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if you were trying to kill my blue hedgehog son, I would too punch you.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of things getting
I would
punched,
definitely kill.
yeah, I love the joke of Sonic pushing both Tom and Maddie off. That was such a dark scene. But obviously, he saves both of them. That was a great
I was
moment.
scared for them.
Yeah, I was like, oh my, like when you're first watching the movie, you're like, what if there's this amazing Spider-Man 2 scene in here where one of them where Sonic's too late. I'm glad that they avoided that.
Oh,
Just like the overall
Yeah.
just vibe of the movie was fantastic. It was great seeing that happen. And we get
The
back to
bullets, the bullets.
the bullet
yeah.
scene. The bullet scene. I almost forgot about
It
that.
was
The bullet scene.
amazing.
Yeah,
The slow-mo, the sound,
all
the
of it.
effect.
Yeah.
Everything.
All of it was brilliant to see. Like that was the only good scene from the original design, from the Ugly Sonic design. That was the only scene that looked somewhat good.
Yeah,
Like,
and the way he like played with the bullets like it was an instrument, I found that pretty awesome.
yeah, that's the cartooniness that I feel like the second and third movie don't really have. But it was fun seeing this first movie like do stuff like that because you wouldn't see that in movie 3. You wouldn't see that in movie 2. We did see it in movie 2, but we didn't see it in movie 3. That was awesome to see. And I'm so glad that I'm glad that you remembered for me to say it. Then Eggman uses the quill, and then they chase each other around the world pretty much, which was a really cool just scene in general.
I think that one scene with the mime was kind of awesome, where he like mimed the ring.
Made the ring happen. That was a really like all of that. Just every single shot was cool to see. I do like the fact that we get to see Eggman somewhat win by actually hitting Sonic and knocking him unconscious.
Surprisingly, he got to his speed with just one quill.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Eggman's
Yeah, that shows how strong he is.
Yeah, that's something that
how Sonic power works, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, if
The quill
one quill is enough to, reach his speed, then...
Yeah. Then, like, the quill jokes, I feel like that's the reason why the quill jokes are so prevalent. Maybe it's just because all of the quills equal it, so hopefully hopefully Sonic doesn't have to shed. But yeah, that's something that I realized. It was just like, one quill did that? Dang. But yeah, Eggman does somewhat win. With,
it's either Sonic is just crazy freaking powerful, or Eggman just really knew how to channel that power.
Yeah.
Maybe both.
Yeah, and Eggman kind of won. Yeah. He kind of won. He hit Sonic. Like, if Tom doesn't step up, like, the movie's over. Like, Eggman wins.
Yeah, Sonic would have been a little lab rat for the rest of his life.
Yeah, and Tom would be in federal prison and the death penalty. For, manhunt. Yeah, I feel like that's something we kind of forgot to mention. Oh yeah, Tom is a nationwide manhunt now.
Going on a wild goose chase.
Yeah, and and then the ending was awesome to see. With just Tom finally acknowledging not only is Sonic his friend, like we get to see the relationship grow from like friend to like son in this movie, and then we get to see carry over to movie 2. Yeah, we get to see Tom step up and actually do things, and it's so cool to see that. Like that just shows Tom's character in a fun way, and I feel like as a human, even though he is a human character, he felt like a Sonic character. With he learned, he lived. And we get to see him punch Eggman again. He didn't punch anybody in the third movie.
Which was awesome.
Yeah, like he just punched him and nearly dropped the B word. I'm the donut lord, you son of a... I wish she said it, but the movie would have probably been PG-13 based off of that.
It would be fun.
Yeah, I mean the Sonic franchise, has used swear words before, but it was a really cool like cut off censor scene. And then we get to see Sonic go crazy after Tom finally says the part that we knew since the building scene that he's his friend. And the high five.
Yeah, he ran around in like 3 circles or something, and it was so cute.
Yeah, it was so fun. It was so unique. It made Sonic Sonic.
I heard that the little running around in circles thing was as if he was running around the baseball field and giving the high five, getting the high five he wanted when he's like wins in baseball.
Cute. That's so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so awesome. But yeah, that's something that is throughout the movie, and I do like the fact that we get to see them, painting and like doing stuff afterwards. So the movie ends in a really cool way. We get to see Sonic send Eggman off to the Mushroom Planet, which was fun to see.
Yeah.
It was great to
see.
And
like the actual Stone, Agent Stone.
Yeah, the Stone one with the face.
Yeah.
Also going bald. Also, he goes bald and say, "I'm gonna be back before Christmas." And
I think that's because they originally thought. I think it was originally thought that movie 2 was gonna come out like December of 21, but the pandemic hit.
I thought that too.
Yeah, like I think remember this movie was filmed in 2019, so the pandemic kind of delayed things a little bit, but it's still impressive that they got the second movie out in 2 years.
It
But
is.
yeah,
And the third in around 2 years too.
yeah. Well, but overall, just like talking about like the ending, it was so cute. I love the fact that you get to see Green Hills being played on the piano, like in like as like the music. Even though that these movies really don't use the soundtrack of Sonic until the third movie, it was nice hearing that. Like there was a nod. Like they cared about the video game music, but video game music wasn't really accepted into movies until the Mario movie really dug it home.
No, they did put Friends by Hyper Potions in the intro.
Yeah. Then we got to, and then obviously the Green Hill rendition. Yeah, and that was, then we get to see Sonic go back into the attic, which was an upgrade from the cave, which was so cute to see. And then we get to see Ozzy. We kind of brushed over Ozzy, but I love how cute and like doggo he was. He was definitely a doggo.
Yeah. And the way that it was like Tom was for sure like dead set on Ozzy being his best friend, and then Sonic ending up changing his mind.
Yeah, and then you know the jokes about him licking and like all of that. Ozzy was very cute. And
Yeah,
so we're just getting to our final thoughts now. Things that we may have like brushed over or forgot to talk about. Let's see. Let's see. My overall final thoughts. It's a great movie. I do love the post-credit scene with Tails. That was awesome to see.
It was so exciting seeing Tails, and he looked especially fluffy and cute.
Imagine what he would have looked like with the Ugly Movies design.
I mean, it seems they had it planned.
I already saw a meme about.
Just like imagine just the anarchy that would have happened with that. I do like the fact that Colleen is the voice of Tails. We get to see that more as we get to our final thoughts. I've already said that before. But yeah, like overall, it was great. I don't think we missed any scenes in the movie. Some jokes. I didn't like the fart jokes. It was great. It was fun. Everything was fantastic in this film. Crazy Carl with Sonic, that was the big thing. Sonic being in the movie was a cool visual joke. It was, everything with this movie was, even though people say that this movie felt the most corporate, it did. I feel like this movie had the most love, like the most loved movie. Like they referenced the memes, they did stuff. Obviously, the other movies have a bigger budget, introduce other characters, but
yeah, and they end up flopping. But this one actually had love, care, and it was kind of dedicated to the fans, unlike other movies.
Yeah,
other movies were like, I mean, Sonic 3 it made people cry, made people go crazy. It was a pretty fun
did not watch
movie.
Yeah, and I feel like we don't.
Don't worry, I already been.
Got spoiled.
Sonic 3 apparently is I believe it's better than 1. But Sonic 1 did do a massive impact. I heard that after that, I'm not the only one who became a Sonic fan. A lot of people actually did.
It gave Sonic the lifeline that it needed, because Frontiers was going to be the final game. But I feel like the movie, not only did the movie do good with IDW, like just like chilling at the time, it was like the movies gave Sonic a huge financial boost. I remember a lot of people saying that, hey, this might flop, but it didn't. Even with the pandemic hitting, it was still like it was a top 10 highest grossing movie of the year. I mean, granted, not.
Yeah, it did make a massive impact. I believe this is something that I don't think you can see everywhere, but I used to live in the UAE in Dubai, and you would see absolutely no Sonic everywhere. I came back recently for vacation, and I saw that Sonic was in every single corner you looked at. So the movies were like they took a massive impact. When I would talk about it there, no one knew who Sonic was. Now everyone does. So it was definitely something the series needed.
Yeah. I would see some Sonic stuff, if I remember correctly, when I was younger. But a lot of people are like wearing Sonic merch. Like kids have Sonic book bags, lunch boxes. Like I'm jealous, but because my little brother has his entire room is Sonic themed. So it's like it was so nice just like seeing Sonic get that success, because the 2010s and the mid 2000s to all of the 2010s was considered the dark era of Sonic. So just seeing the movie start the Sonic Renaissance was fantastic, because it gave Sega a budget for games again. It showed Sega that you can slow down. I feel like with the example of them changing the design, like slowing down is fine with these games, because Frontiers was the longest wait we've had towards games, because that was a 6-year gap. People usually we usually got a Sonic game every year. Like every year we get a new Sonic game. Forces kind of broke that with that 3-year wait, but at the same time it was like Sonic was a heavily rushed franchise. But I feel like this movie taught Sega a very, very important lesson about, hey, it's fine to slow down with this franchise. And now the Sonic
movies, it's kind of ironic.
Yeah, and now that the Sonic movies have made over $1 billion combined, which is amazing. Everything that this franchise has done has been fun and great to see, and I feel like a lot of this wouldn't have been possible, because if the Ugly Sonic came out at the time, I think the movie would have flopped. I think that Frontiers would have been the final game in the series, and like that would have been it. That would have been it. But this was the
Maybe
lifeline
I
to
believe
Sonic.
just maybe a little stretch, maybe one more after Frontiers,
I
because I'm
remember
pretty sure
Yeah.
Sonic X Shadow
Yeah,
Generation.
because
Yeah, but
because
I
would have
feel I
made
remember
Frontiers
reading
was
somewhere though
loved.
that Frontiers was supposed to be like the final big game. But I feel like
Yeah.
yeah, and and I'm so glad that the movies did well. James Marsden did a great job. Ben Schwartz as a voice actor did a fantastic job. It was everyone brought their A game for this movie, and it was
Yeah,
so refreshing to see Sonic being taken seriously again in pop culture.
yeah. And speaking of voice actors, I don't know if you didn't know, but in Latin America, the voice of Sonic from the first movie was a YouTuber named Luisito Comunica. And people here in Latin America were angry. Were like, wait, why do you not hire a professional and all that? And when the movie came out, they say, okay, he was a good voice actor, he did a good job, and they never called him again. They changed it for somebody who was kind of with the words.
Uh-huh.
No.
But yeah, that's something that this did show off. I'm so glad that this movie did well. Um, that the impact, everything, the trilogy, like you can dunk on movie one for its the fart jokes, the basic plot, but we wouldn't have movie two or movie three or the Knuckles show. We probably would have had we wouldn't have
Without
had a
Sonic.
lot of things without Sonic movie one, so it would always hold a special place in my heart.
Yeah, maybe Idle White could have ended sooner if if it didn't succeed with the Sonic movie.
Yeah,
Or instead of gonna say we're gonna cut up budgets and Idle White has to go, this has to go, no more shows, no more things, just small game.
yeah.
It would
So
have been a disaster.
yeah,
We won't see in the
the
sheet.
podcast of disaster wouldn't exist.
Maybe.
Yeah, so it's just so nice to see Sonic get something right after so many years of it apparently going wrong. And it did, and this movie did, to me, was the turning point for Sonic as a franchise. This started the Sonic Renaissance that people talk about. People say it was maybe with IDW, but I would say that the first Sonic movie kind of put the point there that it was Sonic now had a new standard.
Yeah, especially since like movies were especially big during that time because of COVID, so people would watch a lot, and I'm pretty sure even after like cinemas, people would watch it, and it felt like the perfect time, and it really impacted the way people see Sonic, the way the series moved forward with everything. I feel like just overall the movie was a wonderful idea.
Yeah. And then how would with all this stuff and after all this to cap off the final point for this episode, how would you personally have handled the first Sonic movie with if you were the one making it? I'll let Arts
Um,
go first, and then I'll go last.
Okay. Um, I would probably have it be a little more similar to the Mario movie, where it's like kind of their origin story and all the characters are already there. Um, I would have it be probably fully animated, like not live action. I don't know. If it was live action, that would be fine too. But I would have liked to see more of uh I think Game Sonic at the very beginning. But what I do like about the movies is that movie Sonic kind of turns into Game Sonic. Otherwise, uh, I feel like if I had to like come up with a Sonic movie right now, I would have it be about more with Game Sonic um, going through an adventure like Mario's and like their origin.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds good. That sounds like very good.
So Lord M, how would you do it?
Well, I have two takes. Let's start with the serious one. I would try to handle it as a retake of Sonic 1 and Sonic 2, like putting both games together and try to retell a new story, like how Sonic became the fastest thing alive, how met Tails, explaining more background about Robotnik, why is he doing all these things. Basically an origin, kind of, like Jason says.
Yeah. If I was in charge of the first movie, I would probably keep it live action, and I would probably maybe cut the opening with Longclaw, maybe.
Young,
Just maybe have the world be Green Hills and
well,
actual Green Hills, like have it set in the world. I understand they probably kept it. They probably didn't want to spend the CGI budget because they didn't know how the movie would fare. But I would have rather it be in Green Hills, like as like the environment we saw at the opening part of the movie. I would rather it be there. That's like the only big thing I would change. And speaking of changes, we're gonna change over to being completed with this episode of the podcast of disaster. I would like to thank everybody for watching, and thank you to Yes Arts for being a part of it. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed your first episode.
Jay.
Yes, I did. I feel like I was able to express a lot of my love towards the movie that turned me into a fan and got me here today. So I loved this episode.
Yeah. This also reintroduced me, so we have a lot to be thankful about this first movie. And happy 5-year anniversary to Sonic Movie One. It can now go to kindergarten. There's children in 2020 that are now going to kindergarten. That makes me feel really old. Well, thank you all for watching today's episode of the Podcast of Disaster. We're on Spotify. We're gonna eventually be on Apple Podcasts, and we're on now YouTube Podcasts officially now. Obviously, you can watch the episodes on YouTube still. Obviously, yada yada yada. I'm just yapping at this point. Thank you all. Be good. Remember, everybody, I love you all. Be good to yourselves, others, and mothers, and we will see you guys on Thursday. Goodbye, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye bye.